November, everybody. How are you doing, everybody? It's been a long time, right? It's been a long time since I've talked in front of a camera. I feel very comfortable about it. Long time no see. Hello, everybody. It's the November show. That's right. Every month I do this catch-up videos where I talk about everything that I watched in that particular month. This time is gonna be a little bit different, though. I switch up the categories, try something different. But before that catch up, we have a lot of things to catch up on this channel. Is that things have been a little bit different. As you may know, if you have been following this channel, is that I'm not doing any reviews anymore. A lot of reasons for that. I'll probably do a video in the future, but to summarize it or to simplify it, I don't think it's healthy, and that's not what I want to do on this channel, and that's not what I want to do as a person. I think doing video essays, there's more effort to it, there's more ingenuity behind it. It's not just like, okay, I watch a movie, I come back home, I just talk about for like 10 minutes and then edit it to 5 minutes and then just post it in like two hours. It just feels so effortless, and that's not what I want to do on this channel. Writing video essays, it takes sometimes 2 hours. Sometimes it takes hours. Editing it, there's more work behind the editing, and it's just more fun. I think the final product, it's more fun to watch. So that is kind of where this channel is at. We're not doing reviews anymore. We're just doing video essays until I figure something out. We'll probably expand more content. This is just the first step of it. Whether you like it or not, bear with me. Thank you for being here. And this is a okay month for film for the channel. If you're new here, thank you for being here. I actually kind of missed this. It's been a while since I talked. So anyway, let's just jump into it. So if you have been following this channel or this show where I do monthly, is that I usually categorize these things that I'll watch into 3 categories: skip it, condition, and must watch. This time is going to be a little bit different. I did 4 lists, and instead of 3, I did 4. It's called the play it in the background, stream it, go to the theater, and must watch. The purpose of these videos or this show is to put some movies or some shows under your radar so that you can go check it out. It might pique your interest, so if you're interested, you can go check it out yourself. But as I always say, if I don't like something, doesn't mean that you won't like something. If I absolutely love something, doesn't mean that you will love something just like I do. So it's very subjective. Doing this new list, though, I try to do it as objective as possible, and I will explain myself along the way of this video. So let's just jump into it. The first list being play in the background. This is pretty self-explanatory. I think these are the movies or shows where you just go home and you're by yourself, you have nothing to do, you're kind of bored, you just want to go on your phone and, I don't know, look at Reddit and Facebook or whatever, and then you want something, you want some background noise. These are the films that you put it on TV and just play it, and pick your head up, look at it for a couple of seconds, and then keep doing what you're doing, and you will still understand the stories because they're not that important. First one being Robin Hood. A lot of people have been giving shit about this one. I say it is what it is. I don't really expect anything else. It's how many remakes has it been? It's 8th movie about Robin Hood or something like that. I don't really get it. This film is just really over the top. Everything, the performance wise, Ben Mendelsohn is just way over the top. Everyone is pretty over the top, and just the writing, it's what writing, and then directing is what directing. It is what it is. You know exactly what this movie is, and you're looking at the trailer. If you have seen the trailer, you probably know exactly what this movie is. There's no surprise. The Princess Switch. I watched this a couple of days ago, I believe, when it first came out or whatever. It says it's a Parent Trap, but with princess, with Vanessa Hudgens as the main character. It's basically this small town girl played by Vanessa Hudgens bumped into this princess played by Vanessa Hudgens. They look exactly the same, and they decide to switch character for 2 days, and it turns out there's some role reversal there. Something happened at this party, something in that party, and they decide to do something about it. It's a Parent Trap, a princess with it. This is a perfect playing in the background. When I was watching it, I wasn't really paying attention. I gave it a try in the first half, and it just didn't really work for me. It doesn't have that wonderment when they first meet together, and you don't feel that, oh my god, I just met someone that looks exactly like me. You don't feel any of it. This film is trying to be funny. I don't think it's that funny, honestly. And it's just that type of film where you stumble across it on TV, you get a glimpse at it, you know exactly where the story is going and everything. And there's really nothing special here. We've done it in a long time ago, so I don't think there's any reason to do it again. Stream it. Keep in mind, I did these lists as objective as possible. Some, it's still really subjective, but based on the category is pretty objective, so keep that in mind. These are the films that I think you should go watch it, but watch it at home. The streaming service like Netflix, Hulu, or whatever, and wait for it, or you can rent it, or you can go to Redbox, or go on Amazon, whatever you want. You can get your hands on and just stream it at home. First one being Beautiful Boy. I actually like this movie. I think it's really enjoyable. The performances are all great. Steve Carell and Timothy, acting through the credit, Chalamet, they're both great. Beautiful Boy tells a story about this guy. It's based on a true story, based on this memoir that David Sheff wrote. It's based on this true story about his son being a drug addict and his journey of getting clean. It took over the course of many years. This film is told in a non-linear type of way. We get flashback every time we ask a certain question, and I think that's pretty interesting. Is it necessary though? I don't think so. I don't think it's 100% necessary, but this film takes an approach. This film's perspective, I did a whole video essay on it. This film is perspective is really one-sided. It really lays heavy on this dad character instead of this son character, and I think it can be a good thing or a bad thing when it comes to telling a true story. But I think if you really don't mind it, you should get over it pretty easily. Boy You Raised, directed and written by Joe Edgerton. Let me just get this out of the way. I didn't like this movie. I can easily put this one in the playing in the background list, but I think that would be a little bit too harsh on this film. I didn't like it personally. It seems like the critics and the audience liked it, at least the majority of them. I didn't really like this movie because it really just didn't reach me on that level. It dragged a lot for me. I don't care about any of the characters or the story that they're telling. It is interesting to see the message they're trying to send. This movie tells a story about this homosexual kid, a teenager, who is just going to college. His whole family is Christian, but he's homosexual. As you may know, it's a sin in the Christianity thing. I don't really understand it, but it's a sin to be a homosexual. So when his parents find out, he put him to this facility to kind of fix him, because homosexual is wrong, is a choice. They believe that, and we just go on this journey of, hey, my dad just really don't care about me. My dad only cares about God. Like he never asked me about how I feel about it, if whether or not it's a choice or whatever. And I think that aspect of it is really interesting. It digs deep on. It is an exploration on how these facility works. It got kind of dirty because things they did to him in that facility is really heart-wrenching to watch sometimes, and I think that's the best thing about the film. Everything else is just kind of background. The performances are okay. Everyone was okay. It just feel like after I watched this movie, nothing really mattered. I think it could be just me. Because it didn't really reach me on that level. I'm not religious. I don't care about Christianity or whatever. So I think if you are interested in religious studies or whatever that thing you call it, I think you will probably find this movie at least interesting. On a storytelling level, I'm not a big fan of it. That's why this movie is on the streaming list. Next one being Instant Family. I like this movie. I think it's enjoyable. It's funny. It's heartwarming at times. It is a true story based on a true story. It's inspired by a true story. This film tells a story about a couple trying to adopt 3 Latino kids and the hardship that comes along with it, because at first, for the most of the time, they don't really get along with each other, and we just follow that story. And I think this movie has a good intention. It has a really good theme, and the director really conveyed the message the best he could, the way that he think is best. It just didn't really work for me on that tone level, because for something that is so serious, you might argue that when you're talking about something that serious, you're trying to make jokes out of it. It just feels so distasteful and something like that. And I feel that. I feel that this time. It just feel like there's so many catharsis. There's so many emotional points that I think the filmmakers are trying to hit, and it just covered up with a lot of the comedy, which worked most of the time, but it just doesn't match. I think instead of that, a lot of the time can be spent on fleshing out the characters, especially those three kids and their mother, their biological mother. And I just think that if you want to go for that, hey, adopting kids is actually a really good thing that you're doing, no matter what people say. Tell that story with a stupid comedy type of way. I don't think it matches, but overall I think the film is enjoyable. It's heartwarming. Go watch it for that. And it's funny, it's healthy. Go watch it. Just stream it. Oh boy, this one is a big one. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's an anthology film on Netflix. That's why the stream it is pretty obvious. It's written and directed by Coen Brothers, and it's this anthology about Western stories. There's 6 Western stories. They don't connect, so don't expect that. I think this film was okay, probably at best okay. I think a lot of people have been hyping up this movie a little bit way too much. I think the first 2 mini stories is the best ones, and the 4 stories that follows, it's not that they're bad, it just feels like it gets long. This film is more than 2 hours long. It's kind of boring as the film progresses, because in every single mini stories that precedes after the first 2 mini stories, they have this huge setup that you don't really care, like 15 minutes setup to this one punchline that lasts for 2 minutes. And I think that's exactly why when you put these stories together in a feature and expect it to sit there in one sitting, it feels so long. But I think since it is on Netflix, you can always watch a mini stories, get out, do something else, and then tomorrow come back, watch another mini stories. That would always be good. The first 2 stories is the most intriguing ones to me. They're just funny, they're just gory, they're just bloody, exactly what you expect in a Coen Brothers film. The first 2 story is that. The next one being The Girl in the Spider's Web is a sequel to The Girl in the Dragon Tattoo, directed by David Fincher, which I really much enjoyed. This film is very different from that. The first one being this thriller that feels so dirty. After watching it, it feels there's no hope to anything. This film takes another approach. This film is more like an action thriller, and out of all things. And here's the question that I want to ask you. When you expect something to be something, doesn't mean it's good or bad, because you walk into the Girl movies expecting another David Fincher film, but it turns out to be an action thriller. Does that automatically make it a bad movie? That is a question of this film. What is this movie about? It's about, again, our girl Elizabeth trying to get this thing back from this evil cult, evil group of people, because they're trying to destroy the world. It's pretty generic. I don't really expect this type of script in the Girl franchise. I'm not really like an expert on this franchise, but from my understanding of it, it shouldn't be like this, but doesn't make it bad. I think if you watch this movie individually, it's not a bad movie. I really don't think it's a bad movie. There are some directorial flaws, like there's this fight scene inside in the fog, and a bunch of people are tackling our main character, and you don't see anything. It just fog. Okay, let me just stop it right here. Let me just get this out of the way. Without making a video for every single movie I watch, it's kind of hard to remember it if they're not that rememberable, because before I make a video on every single movie that I watch so that I can remember them pretty well. This time is a little bit different. So if I'm lacking information here, or I'm not speaking as coherently or whatever, I'm not hitting the points that you want to hit, tell me in the comments. I'll try to do my best here. Next one being The Grinch. Here's the thing. People seems to don't like this movie. I think it's a fun time. When I was watching in the theater, the animation looks great. It's pretty good, and there's a good message behind it. You can take your kids with you, go to the theater, have fun. It's pretty funny, and that's it. It's a Grinch movie. Go enjoy it. The Kindergarten Teacher. A lot of people have been saying that this has one of the best performances of the year by Maggie Gyllenhaal. I didn't really feel it. This film tells about this kindergarten teacher who discovered this kid called Jimmy, and he's really talented at writing poems, and this kindergarten teacher just feels like she is obligated to have his words heard by the world and spread it across the poem community until the kid's parents say, stop, this is wrong, and we have this opposition going on. This film is interesting. because this film really went to a place where you wouldn't expect. It got dark at the end. You don't like when you watch this movie in the first act, maybe you would never have expected how this film would be in the third act. It's complete different films, I feel like, and that is, I think, it's the most interesting part of this film. However, on a personal level, I didn't really care for this movie. I think it's interesting what they did with the writing. I think the performances are good and the cinematography was pretty good. I just don't care about it. The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. This film, I think it's a little bit underwhelming for considering the hype behind it and how it is Disney and how the cast behind it is pretty good. I feel like relatively it feels really underwhelming, the action sequences and everything. The Nutcracker and the Four Realms tells about this kid called Clara go to the Four Realms. If you have read, I believe it was like an old tale from Disney and it was a book or something like that. I don't know. She goes to this fantasy world trying to retrieve this key that her mother left her, and this key is supposed to open this egg that contains everything that this kid needs and wants to know. Here's the thing, the best thing about this film, easily production design, production value very high, fantastic CGI and shit. Costume design, fantastic. Makeup, everything is great. Everything about that was great. The biggest thing is about the storytelling. It just feel really underwhelming. We don't care about any of the characters, and I think the reason why it's on the streaming list is just because of that. It's visually appealing. The performances I find okay. Keira Knightley is overacting a little bit, but everything I feel like the character allows her to be, so I'm not gonna nitpick on that. The performances are okay, and I think that's about it. Next list, everybody, go to the theater. This list called Go to the Theater because I think these are the movies that you should go to the theater and watch. Consider if these movies are still in theater and you haven't caught it, go watch it immediately because it's going off the theater pretty soon. First one being Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, hear me out. I didn't like this movie. I did not like Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, we have one scene where their tire got busted, and the next scene they're on war tour for some reason. Like, this film has a lot of writing problems for me. I think the writing part of this film could be tweaked a lot. But I think the best thing about this film is the music, right? Like the whole final performance part is just fantastic to watch it in IMAX or Dolby or whatever you watch it in. And it's just so cool to listen to Queen in that Dolby theater. And I think that's the best part of it. The performance from Rami Malek, fantastic performance here. And I think that's about it though. The writing part is really the biggest problem for me. A lot of people saying that this film, it doesn't stick truth with the actual story because they tweaked a lot of things. I think it's okay to tweak something to fit with the dramatic structure of a feature screenplay, but if you tweak so much of something in real life when you're trying to tell a biographical film, it becomes a problem. Did it bother me? No, I don't really care about that aspect of everything. It's really about the writing of our main character, Freddie Mercury. I don't feel like Freddie Mercury is a dramatic character for us to follow for 2 hours. It just feels like a documentary character being put into a feature, and just doesn't belong in this structure. I think it's enjoyable on that music level. It's enjoyable on that performance level and the last performance. And I think watching that in theater is the most appealing way of doing it. So that's why this film is in the go to the theater list. Next one being Can You Ever Forgive Me? This is the drama done right. When comedy does drama can exceeds all other drama because they did comedy first. This is it. Melissa McCarthy's performance is great. Everyone in here is great. Some people are pushing this one for that nomination of Best Original Screenplay or Adapted Screenplay or whatever. I didn't really feel it. This film is very unconventional, and I think that's a good thing here. It's more of a slow burn that doesn't drag at all. It knows its pacing, it knows its stuff. The atmosphere is great. It's about a true story about this failing author, Lee Israel, copying other people's work in the past, like mostly from passed away playwrights, authors, or whatever. She copies it and sells it to a distributor. I think it's an incredible story, incredible character. It deserves to be told, and I think this film really does the job. And It's just a great drama. It's just a great drama. There's no bullshit. There's no CGI bullshit. It's just a great drama, a great story, and you can definitely enjoy it in a theater. Here's the thing. I don't have a lot of things to talk about this movie. Is because when I switch my content to doing video essays, when I look at movies, I'm focusing on the theme of the movie instead of the technicality. And when I sit down trying to talk about the technicality of everything that I watched in the past month, I forget a lot. I don't have a lot of things to say. Overlord was hell of a ride. I think it's really enjoyable. Watch this movie in IMAX. Oh, this film is insane. It's Nazi zombies. That's all you have to know about this movie. Nazi zombies and the Normandy landing of Normandy. It's on D-Day. There's 5 remaining soldiers trying to get into this church, trying to blow up the tower of Germans. And as they do that, they discover some weird ass fucking experiments that the Nazis have been doing, mostly with zombies and shit. This movie was insane. I think that the build up is a little bit too long because we don't see zombies that much. But when shit happens, when shit hits the fan, it hits the fan. Ralph Breaks the Internet. I think it's fantastic. It's about Ralph and Vanellope goes to the internet to retrieve, to go on eBay to get this wheel because Vanellope's game is broken, so that they can fix her game. And on the way, the friendship is tested. That's it. And that's all what this movie is about. Friendship. Everything is all about friendship. And I think the filmmakers convey that message pretty nicely. The animation looks stunning. Voice acting, fantastic. Gal Gadot is in it. Great stuff there. Some people saying that this one is better than the first one. I don't really remember the first one. I watched it a long time ago. But I think if you enjoyed the first one, you are gonna love this one because there's really nothing big that they change on the technicality or storytelling or whatever. It's exactly what you would expect in a regular Ralph movie. Next one, Suspiria. Suspiria is the mother of 2018. Suspiria. What the hell is this movie? I don't know. If you want me to talk about the plot of this film, it's about this American girl called Susie goes to, I don't even remember, okay? She goes to Germany to learn dancing, and in this dancing facility, she discovers some weird ass fucking shit, and then, things escalate. This film is weird. It's the mother of 2018, like I said, is a cure for wellness of 2018. After I watch this movie, I don't want to watch it ever again. I don't even want to dig into it of what everything means because it's just so damn confusing. This film it didn't work for me. Let me just get that out of the way. It's 6 acts with 1 epilogue and 1 after credit scene. I don't understand it. And here's the big question. Can Suspiria 2018 stand on its own? Because it is a remake. I would say Suspiria 2018 mostly can't stand on its own, but there are certain scenes in it I feel like a crutch to this first one. Things that are happening in this film, you kind of need to have to watch the first one to understand it all, or else it just gets more and more confusing until the end. The third act, the final act of this one, I don't even know, like the 6th act of this one, or the epilogue, I don't really remember. But when it got to that mirror scene, if you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The mirror scene, no, it's the bloodiest shit ever. And some people are calling it a masterpiece. Here's a question for y'all, all of y'all people calling this a masterpiece. What is this movie about? The last one on this list is Widows. People love this movie. No one's going to the theater to watch it. A lot of people are blaming on the marketing because the marketing just feels like this cheesy ass blockbuster, and it turns out to be an artsy blockbuster. It's about a group of women whose husbands has died and they turned into widows, and they try to pull off this heist to get that money because their husbands owes a lot of money, and so that they need to pull off this heist to get that money and pay them back. This film is a blockbuster disguised as an art house, or an art house disguised as a blockbuster. I can't really even tell. Steve McQueen's direction, this fantastic directing right here. One of the best directed film of the year for sure. Steve McQueen is fantastic. What he did with 12 Years a Slave and Here Comes Widows. This guy has range. This film is fantastically shot, and the cinematography is just stunning. There's this one shot, beautiful shot. It's just this one take shot where the Colin Farrell's character goes into this car, and we're just, this camera is just on the windshield. It's just this 5-minute take where we just panning from the left to the right as the car drives down the street of Chicago. And when you see this difference, we go from this ghetto ass streets to this mansion of Colin Farrell's. It's just so interesting. That shot just sold it. But I don't think this film is perfect. I definitely had problem with this watching it. I think it's a little bit slow. I think the film is a little bit too long, especially in the second act. But I think the performances in this film is just fantastic. Viola Davis fucking killed it. Elizabeth Debicki, probably the best I ever seen here. And it's just a great cast with great execution all around. Must watch of the month. These are the films that must watch, no matter what. If you missed it in theater, wait for the Blu-ray or whatever. Must watch. You have to watch it. You just have to watch it. I'm actually kind of burned out. It's been way too long since I talked to a camera. American Vandal. Okay, American Vandal season 2, the first one. This it's a show on Netflix. It's a mockumentary about just two students investigating some guy who puts laxative in lemonade and everybody just shit their pants. They're trying to investigate who did it, and I promise is really good. I love the first season. I think the first season was even better than this one. The season 2 came out a couple of months ago. I didn't catch it. I binged the entire series from season 1. I absolutely love the series. American Vandal season 2 is great. Go watch it. Creed 2. I didn't expect I would enjoy this movie as much. The first one, I thought it was really good. Ryan Coogler did a fantastic job directing that. This film is a damn good sequel. It's not disappointing at all. Michael B. Jordan, one of the best performances of the year. And Creed 2 is just a really good sequel. I think if there's anything that can come after Creed, it's Creed 2. I think this film is damn enjoyable. I think there's definitely something really interesting here, what the writers did. Here's the thing, the best way to put it, I think the directing is not as good as the first one. It's kind of hard to beat Ryan Coogler's directing with Creed. However, I think the writing is actually better than the first Creed. The writing here, it's what caught my eyes. It's what's fantastic about this one. Here's something written on the Rotten Tomatoes. Creed 2 is about going back to basics to rediscover what made you a champion in the first place, and remembering that no matter where you go, you can't escape your history. That's pretty much just sums it up. There's some fantastic fighting scenes, of course. It's a boxing movie. You have to have good fighting scenes, and there's a good montage scenes, like basically everything that you would expect in a Creed movie, but it's still a damn good movie. You can still enjoy it. Last one on this list. Last one of the video, Green Book. I enjoy the hell out of this movie more than I ever expected. A lot of people saying that this is the Oscar bait. It doesn't matter. I feel like when Oscar bait is Oscar bait, you get Call Me By Your Name. But Green Book, it's like Oscar bait, but you can also enjoy the film as an audience. Like, it's fantastic, dude. It's based on a true story once again about this Italian American called Tony, who's hired by this African American pianist who's going on tour. From there, we get this friendship together because at first Tony was a little bit racist. It's funny. It's funny. Green Book is funny. It's one of the funniest films of the year, and I think they're not even trying to be funny. It's just funny with how it is. It's just these two characters, when they're talking to each other, when they're bantering with each other, it just worked, because I did a whole video essay on it, on why it worked. It mainly specifically on these two characters, how they're crafted, how they go against each other. It's this philosophy of antagonism and protagonism, how they work together. This film worked because of that. The performances are fantastic. Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali, just great. They probably will get nominated, and also the cinematography is so good. I would be pretty shocked if this film doesn't get nominated for any cinematography at the Oscar or whatever. It's really crowd pleasing. After you watch it, you feel good about yourself. And it's just that. It's a great movie. Definitely go watch it in theater if it's screening near you. And I think probably Green Book is the movie of the month. Thank you for watching yet another show of the month. This time is November. I believe that I'm fucked it up. I'm dying here, man. I mean, like, fuck my voice. I mean, it's always fun to film these videos. I think it's a good way to catch up everything, since I'm not making every single video on every single movies that I watch now. So that, yeah, I think it's good. so that we can have these long talk. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for sticking around, and I'll see you in December. There are definitely more things coming out in December that a lot of people are looking forward to. So we'll see what happens. And thank you for watching this video. Like and share this video with your grandparents and everyone you know. Subscribe so they can see more of our videos. Remember that. It feels so weird to say that again. Remember, you have the right to do whatever you want. Nothing you say or do can be used against you by anyone. But I'll really like it if you subscribe, please. And thank you.